Right guys, I am back. Had a little bit of time away from fishing due to just life really, I guess, and this is the first one of many videos that are on the way, and I hope you'll join me. We are on the way fishing right now as I speak. I've got the car loaded full of fishing gear. We're heading to Baden Hall, and I'm booked on the Quarry pool there, which is the one, the main sort of specimen lake if you like, the one with the bigger fish in there. But what have I been doing through the winter? So I got back into fishing through the winter and I thought I'd do a bit of perch fishing. I love perch fishing and yeah, really wanted to catch one over £3. That was my target. And I thought it's, you know, a £3 isn't too optimistic. So we're headed down to the canals, did some canal fishing, did some local club waters, as well as some commercials as well, because a lot of the commercials hold good perch. Many fish over £4 and did I catch one? No. The best fish I had was £2 12 ounces, which is reasonable, isn't it? It's not bad. Is it respectable? Don't know, you tell me. But yeah, I enjoyed the fishing anyway. It was kind of back to basics fishing, you know, putting a worm underneath a float at times and fishing prawns and that kind of thing. And yeah, I did enjoy it. It was good. But I wanted to get back carp fishing really. So I headed down to a local club water called Micklewright's Flash on the Limb Angling card. And I had some rods that I'd bought for barbel fishing actually, and I took them down there, quite a nice soft rod, and thought I can get a couple of bites. It's it's reasonably easy water, or it was anyway, from what I could remember. Good kind of water if you wanted to get some confidence up in some new rigs or new bait, that kind of thing. You could go down there and you could normally get a few takes. So I headed down there and I put a snowman rig out on one rod just with 10 boilies, and the other one was a wafter barrel with just a bag of pellets, I think it was. So I had, to be honest with you, it went really well. I had more than a couple of fish. I think it was 5 I had in total. I had a really, really good day, and it sort of whetted my appetite really for carp fishing again. So here I am now, heading to Baden Hall, like I say, and we're going on the Quarry pool, which is the main specimen lake. Not an easy water by any stretch of the imagination, and I've only got 24 hours, so I hope you'll join me and see how the session goes down there, and I'll let you know what I get up to. I've not been to the lake before. What do I know about it? Well, it's 12 acres apparently. It is very clear, very weedy gravel pit, and it has quite a number of very big fish in it as well, especially for this neck of the woods. So yeah, I'm going to do a few sessions down here, and I'm going to bring you guys along with me. Hopefully I can get some good content for you and you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to talk through a lot of what I'm doing on here to try and get a bite. As I say, I've only got 24 hours this time, so we're going to have to keep things. I'm not going to go, I mean, I had to cast around more than what I would have liked this morning, just to find some areas that I could present baits on, but I would say that it's not made too much of a difference because I have had 2 shows in front of me, and yeah, quite pleased with that. We are on fish. I'm fishing over silkweed, and I can fish I think reasonably well and present a bait effectively with, that's a liner guys. I thought we were going then. I thought I was going to have to leave you. But yeah, we're on fish, and hopefully we can bag something, but I'll keep you posted. I'll show you some, I'll turn you around actually in a minute and we'll show you the lake. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to bringing you guys along with me on a few sessions. Yeah, it's nice to be back out fishing behind the rods again, and hopefully we can bag some fish. So it is 5:15 on my first visit to Baden Hall's Quarry pool. Wind seems to be getting even stronger, to be honest with you. I hope you can actually hear me. It's a good test for the microphones, but yeah, I'm going to get the rods out very soon for the evening. I do feel pretty confident, to be honest with you. I'm going to stick with the solid bags on the left, and yeah, both are fishing over silkweed. Not found any sort of there's definitely gravel out there, but you kind of and then pulling into weed, pulling into weed, and it's kind of there's no real clear spots of any size, to be honest. With me only having 24 hours, I didn't really want to just carry on casting. If I was setting my stall out for a longer session, I probably would have worked a little bit harder and found something much cleaner out there, but I'm happy fishing on the silkweed. I do think I'm presented well on both of the rods, and yeah, I seem to be on fish. I've seen 3 or 4 shows, all of which are in front of me, which is lucky, to be honest with you, because when I got here I couldn't find anything, didn't see anything at all. Of course, you draw your pegs on this lake and you pick a swim. You can move though, so you're basically picking a swim without looking at the lake. Like I say, you can move if you get down and then you see fish in another area. You can just call up the office and say, guys, you know, is it okay if I move? Nip up there, swap the keys to the shed, and you can get round and fish another swim. But as I say, I just sort of headed for the end of the wind, and this number 14, it's kind of on a little bit of a point. You've got a good view of the lake from here. Yeah, no, it looked like I guessed correctly, to be honest, because I have seen, like I say, I've seen some fish. So once you've seen fish, of course, you've just got to be careful that you don't spook them all off, and be mindful of what you're fishing over. Make sure you present it correctly, and hopefully you can get a pickup then. Right then guys, we've had one fish, 21 pound 8 ounce mirror. Here's another train. As you can see, I've got the waders on. Feeling pretty confident. We're on bite time now, light's beginning to fade. Good chance for fish. Seen one more show, a little bit to the left of where I've been putting the solid bag, but definitely not far away. So hopefully we can bag another one. Not seen anyone else catch, but I'll be dead honest, I've not really been looking all that much. Just been concentrating on my own sort of swim. I was thinking about putting both of the rods on solid bags and putting them both in the similar sort of area, but I've decided to keep the right hand rod on the stiff hinge. I'd put a little bit of bait over that one, sort of 7 or 8 medium sized spoms of some few whole boilies, chop boilies, a little bit of pellet, and I'd got those in pretty accurately. So I thought I'd stick with that. I just fancy, you know, stiff hinge rig. It's a big fish catcher, isn't it? And I just fancy it for a bite. I don't know. I know I've had a bite on the solid bag, but I just hedged my bets. I'll keep that one out there on the stiff hinge. Just see what happens. We need that 40 pounder, don't we? We need that 40 pounder. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, see what the night brings, but I shall keep you posted, and hopefully we can get another one. I must admit, it was exciting playing that fish. I was literally putting the right hand rod out, and the lead had pretty much just hit the water. I was just kind of about to set the rod, and the left hand rod single bleep. The fish must have picked up the solid, picked up the rig in the solid bag, and shook its head, dropped the lead, and then it just ripped. It was stripping line off the clutch and really going fast, you know. But you know, you kind of bend into the fish, and it felt good, to be honest with you. It felt bigger than what it was, and yeah, on a lake like this where you've got these big fish, you're thinking to yourself, you know, what is it? Is it that 40 pounder? But no, it wasn't. It was it was half the size, but welcome anyway. First time on a new lake, obviously. There's not many fish coming out, and yeah, we've got one in the bag, so can't complain with that. And as I say, we'll see what the night brings. Speak to you soon. Well, good morning. It is now 6:30, and although we went into the night feeling very confident that we were going to get a fish, we didn't. I did have a couple of liners, woke me up a couple of times in the night, but yeah, it was very quiet other than that. I've seen a couple of fish show this morning beyond my water, but kind of directly opposite, and it feels much cooler this morning, as you can see, with the jacket on and everything. And I think probably the fish have just backed off the wind slightly and kind of just moved off the kind of where my right hand rod is. They're kind of beyond that, maybe another 20-30 yards past, so they're not a million miles away. But I'm just going to put a fresh bait on the right hand rod, and I thought I might show you the rig that I've just wound back in off the spot. Now, as you can see, we've got silkweed on there, but this is what I'm fishing over. As I say, I'm not fishing clear spots, I'm fishing into the silkweed, and I'm going to show you the rig properly in a minute, because I think you might be interested in that. But I just wanted to show you really what I've wound in off the spot, to show what I'm fishing over. So obviously it's silkweed, I'm not worried about fishing into that, and I'll show you the rig that I'm doing that with in a second. And yeah, I'm 100% that it's presented well out there. We just need a fish to pick the bait up, to be honest. But yeah, we'll get into the rigs now in a minute. I'll show you this one, and I'll show you the solid bag rig as well. Right, so this is my hinge stiff rig, and as I mentioned, I've got a fluorocarbon leader on there. Now I've got a tungsten chod bead, which are these ones from Gardner, and these have a really big bore. I don't know if you can see it. Could do with setting maybe a macro lens up at some point for doing this kind of thing, but the bore on these is really big, and you can easily pass over any knot with that. Let me actually show you the knot while we're here, because that's also worth mentioning. Now I've got about 3 foot of my fluorocarbon leader there, and this is the knot that I've used. Now this knot is called sometimes called a marhen knot, sometimes called a carrot knot, but as you can see, the knot is tapered, so any bead that needs to go over that will do so with ease. You don't want any huge knots on there that are going to stop anything sliding off your rig. Safety first, guys, always. So let's get to the business end. So as I mentioned, I've got a covert chod bead there. It's one of the big bore ones, and I'm just going to lift that up, and it's going to be a helicopter style setup, but I'm going to move that bead up to allow my lead just to go straight into the silkweed and let my rig rest on top. Excuse the trains, guys. So I'd say that that bead is probably 12 inches from the lead. Okay, so I'll work my way down, shall I? So I've got a swivel on there that just allows me to change the, it's a ring swivel, but it allows me to change the rig easily. Just have a loop on the end of the fluorocarbon rig, and I've got an anti-tangle sleeve on there, and I've got a 20 pound fluorocarbon. It's actually the same as the leader. It's a 20 pound fluorocarbon boom section on there. Obviously I've got a loop that just connects to the swivel on this end, and this end is the interesting part. So I've tied a loop on there. It's a figure of 8 loop that I use, by the way, but I've tied a loop on there that is probably 2 inches. Now some of you may look at that and think, oh my god, that's rough. Why would you do that? But there is a simple reason, and it's a very good reason as well. So obviously this is basically just a chod section that's on the end. using a £25 tripwire. But the interesting thing is that when the pop-up sinks slowly, it heads towards the knot, and then as it sinks, it goes down, 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 and settles like that. And the reason I want it to do that is because a fish can approach this rig from any angle, and I can be sure that that bait is going to fly into its mouth. Now, if you have a very, very small loop, or you were to crimp or to tie directly onto your ring swivel, if a fish approaches from that direction, the rig can't really move so much. Obviously, if it approaches from the other way, the rig will just hinge back and it can go into the fish's mouth. From the side, it can go into its mouth better. But if it approaches from the opposite direction, there's not really much movement there to allow the bait and the hook, of course, to fly into its mouth. So by making the big loop, as I say, the bait sinks slowly, it'll go back towards the loop knot, and then it'll go down, 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 and any direction that a fish approaches this rig, I know that that bait and the hook is going to fly into its mouth, because look how much it can move. Okay, hope I've explained that properly. But let's get down towards the lead end of the rig now. So I've got a buffer bead and a swivel inside it, and I've used a section here. How long is that? Probably 3 to 4 inches, I'd say. You could actually make it smaller, it doesn't really matter. But it's lead free, it's the Camflex leader. It's just the lead free that I've spliced. So hopefully you can see this, it's a little bit fiddly and tricky to show you on the camera. But I've spliced it to the swivel that's inside the buffer bead, and then I've passed it through the swivel on the lead, and then back through the eye of the swivel that you spliced to in the first place. Hopefully you can see that. And then I've got a very soft rubber bead which I've gone through sideways, and I've passed a loop through it. So that is the whole thing, right? And this is a great way of dropping the lead. Really, really good way. So if you pull hard enough now on this lead, everything will slide, and the leader will go, that lead-free leader will just slide through the bead and your lead will fall off. Which is what's going to happen basically when you get a take and a fish finds the weed bed, which it will do in this place. So I can hear you asking me, how are you going to stop the material flying back through the bead? Here's how you do it. Get yourself some dissolving pellets. These ones are CSL pellets, I think they are, but you can get hemp ones as well. And you just put one of those inside the loop, push the bead back up against it, then you can pull it all tight, and you've got a little stop there which will prevent your lead coming off basically. You can pull really, really hard on that and it will withstand any cast at all. You can really give it some beans if you were casting long range, and it is no problem at all. And then of course once it's out there on the lake bed, that little pellet is going to dissolve and it's just going to leave a loop basically sticking out of your bead, and as I say, it will drop the lead off if you need to. And if you don't catch a fish and you're just winding it into recast or anything, I'll guarantee you'll still have your lead on the end. So yeah, that's a great way of dropping the lead. Very, very easy to do as well. Any questions at all about any of this, if I've not explained it properly, please just send me a message or get in touch, drop something in the comments. So this is the solid bag rig I'm going to show you first, and I've got a 3-ounce lead on there. It's fish drop-off style. Be mindful guys that you cannot use lead core on this lathe, that is banned. So any kind of leader that you use has to be lead free. This one's called Camflex. I've got a swivel jammed in the end of the lead there, and like I say, it's fish drop off style, so once the fish picks it up, it will just drop that lead off, and you'll be free to play the fish without a lead hanging off it. Much easier when you've got a weedy lake like this, and also because you've got such a short hook link as well. So I've joined the hook link onto the ring on the swivel there, just with the loop to loop. So I've got a figure of 8 loop tied in the end of the hook link. The hook link is 4 inches in total of trickster heavy and 25 pound. I've gone loop at the other end as well, because I've done it sort of multi-rig style with a slip D on there. So I've used a little bit of shrink tube just to kick the hook over, and yeah, a nice little slip D. So that is a size 6 wide gape talon tip, which is barbless, guys. You need to make sure that you're using barbless hooks on here as well. That is one of the rules. I always find that if I'm using barbless hooks, if I use a beak point, yeah, I just feel like they hold on to the fish a lot better. But anyone who knows me will know that I use this I use this hook in all situations. I just love the pattern. I've got so much confidence in it. It grabs hold and it doesn't let go. So yeah, the clue is in the name. It's called a talon tip, and you don't see eagles letting go of things very easily, do you? So yeah, it really is like a talon. But yeah, I've got a little tiny swivel on there. That's just pulled into the bait, and the bait is a wafter barrel, and that one is a Tropicana one from RG Baits, which I really like. So yeah, that is the solid bag rig. Hope you can hear me with the train going past. So yeah, I normally make a load of these up at home. I've got a little pellet mix that I like to use, and I'll store them in a container which has a sealable lid on it, and they can't get wet, so I'll make a few up at home and I'll bring them down with me, and yeah, I'll have enough to be going on with. Right, I've not really spoken about baits so much, have I? So I thought I'd just quickly run through my bag mix first. This is the bag mix that I'm using. It's got different types of pellet in there. It's got squid and krill baits. I think they're actually from Sonia Baits, these. The Matchmen love them. They put them on their method feeders and that kind of thing. So I've got squid and krill ones in there. I've got a few sort of more of a higher oil pellet in there as well. Only 2 mils, very tiny pellets. I've got a few bigger ones in there that are like 4 mil, but not so many of those. The key really with your solid bags is to make them as sort of compact as possible. You don't want any air inside. So the other thing that I like to add in there is some ground bait as well. Just getting liners on the rattan rod. But yeah, I've got some ground bait in there as well. For the same reason really, it's just to help reduce the amount of air that's in the bag, keep it all very compact, and yeah, a nice solid little mouthful of bait for putting out there on the spot. This is the Sticky Baits Cloudy Krill Liquid. I'm literally just injecting this into the bag. Just a little bit more of traction really, it's just a bit more pulling power. And then pop-ups, okay. So you just seen me there show you the hinge stiff rig, and this is the pop-up that I've got on there. It is the pineapple, the impact ones, and the high leakage pineapple. So yeah, I like, instead of going for like a really sort of bright fluoro colour, I like the sort of more of a dull. Just see if the camera's picking the sort of, yeah, it's pretty accurate actually on the colour. So it's more of a dull yellow, sweet corn yellow I guess, rather than a fluoro. I just think it's, I think the fluoro is sometimes a little bit garish, and yeah, I just prefer the dull yellow. And previous to that, I was using the Sticky Baits Krill in a white colour. That was the other one that I was using previous. But yeah, as I say, I've just changed the rattan rod that's got the hinge stiff rig on it, and I've put that one now on the pineapple. So yellow worked on the solid bag rig. So we'll just see what happens. I'll put it out there towards where the fish are showing. I can't really go much further and stay in my water, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right guys, it's the end of the session pretty much, to be honest with you. It is 9:30 nearly, and yeah, nothing else. I felt like the fish had moved onto the back of the wind. As I say, you know, I saw one earlier on It was sort of 20 to 30 yards past my right hand rod, and I couldn't really go out much further. And yeah, I was hopeful, you know, I remained hopeful. I even got the chest cam on to hopefully get some better footage for you guys this time, because I wasn't very organised on the first fish. Yeah, I kind of concentrated mainly on getting some good self takes on the main camera, and the video footage may not be that great. So I apologise for that, and I will get better, I promise. But yeah, I spoke to one of the bailiffs who just came round in his pickup a few minutes ago, and he said that there's 2 fish been out besides mine, a low 30 and a 20, so no big ones, but they, surprise surprise, came on the back of the wind. So yeah, it's very quiet across the lake, to be honest. There's nothing showing now at all anywhere. I've got quite a good view from here, but it is what it is. What do I think of Baden Hall? Well, I think it's a really well run fishery. It's easy to see why it's got the good name that it has. There's some fantastic fish in this lake, there really is. If you look through the website, look through the social media pages, there's some very special fish here for you to catch. But I wouldn't say it's an easy lake. You need to be confident really fishing in weed. And yeah, it's probably, this lake isn't probably best for the beginners, but there are various lakes on the complex that will definitely be suited for anglers of all levels, to be honest with you. So it's really good for that. But yeah, if anything else happens, I will let you know. And I guess, you know, this is the time when I'm supposed to say like and subscribe and all that stuff. I will appreciate your support though. So if you do that, I will really appreciate it. And if you've got some suggestions or any questions about what, you know, I can make, or anything I've covered in this video, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to accommodate. You know, I don't know what you guys want. Do you want some more stuff on rigs? Maybe how to tie different rigs. I was thinking, you know, we can do some long range casting. We can do some bits on bait. I've worked at 2 different bait companies, so there could be some useful information there that could help people. But yeah, I'm looking forward to making some more content, and I do appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.